Hey Fearless Superstars, welcome to Fearless Friday. My name is Natasha and I'm a Grand Prix dressage rider from Australia. So I don't know if you've ever heard of anchoring before, but basically it's giggle poke. So if you giggle and I poke you, and if you giggle and I poke you, and if you giggle and I poke you, and then I poke you, you'll giggle. It's very, very scientific like that. Another way you may have heard it is Pavlov's dog. So Pavlov was doing a study on, hang on, this is coming off. Pavlov was doing a study on dogs, and what happened, he wasn't studying anything, but I should know what he was studying. He was studying something very scientific. But what happened was a bell would ring before he would feed the dogs, and a bell would ring before he would feed the dogs, and a bell would ring before he would feed the dogs. And then one time the bell rang, but the food wasn't there, but the dogs salivated. And he realised, even though there was no food around, so he realised the dogs were anticipating food, or they were having a salivatory response to the bell, even though, because everyone thought the salivatory response was because the food was coming, like the dog could smell the food, or the dog could sense the food, but there was no food and the bell was there. The dog still provided the saliva response. So he's like, very, very interesting. And he kept ringing the bell, and they provided the salivatory response for a while. And then there was, the response started dying because there was no food. And then eventually he rang the bell and there was no saliva in the dogs again. So NLP kind of uses that, but rather than care about dogs, we think about how it works in a practical application for us as riders. So I want you to think about, okay, what kind of anchors do you have around your horse riding? So for some of you, like, think what an anchor is when you look down at the horse's neck and see a plait. To me, that's an anchor of bring it. Because I know if my horse's mane is plaited up, I'm at a competition, I'm there to perform, I'm there to shine. Now someone else might have a negative anchor to the plaits and go, plaits mean people are looking at me, judges are going to be judging me, I'm in a warm-up ring with other horses that I'm scared of, and the plaits might be an anchor to quite a negative response in the person. Now the plaits are just plaits. They're not positive or negative, but depending on what kind of anchor or what kind of relationship you've decided and created meaning around the plaits will indicate what kind of anchor you have around them. For some people, the anchor, there might be an anchor of a white saddle blanket. So an anchor can be anything. It can be visual, it can be something you see like plaits or a saddle blanket. It might be a feeling. So anchors have been created, unfortunately, sometimes at a funeral. Everyone comes up to the widow and touches her on the shoulder, and obviously she's very sad because she's burying her husband. So she's got these sad feelings, and people touch her on the shoulder, and sad feelings, people touch her on the shoulder, sad feelings, people touch her on the shoulders. And then 6 months later, she's doing a lot better. She's in a supermarket, she's feeling good, she's had a great day, she's really, really happy, and someone will come up and touch her on the shoulder, and she'll suddenly have this deep pang of sadness, and she'll be like, holy shit, where'd that come from? Well, that's because there's been an anchor created on your shoulder. So we use anchors with volition, with meaning, and actually create resource anchors to help people feel confident, or to help people have trust, or whatever it is that you want to anchor on your body that you can fire off. So that's a feeling anchor. You can also have a smell anchor. So when we smell the smell of like sand, arena sand, what does that mean to you? Or the smell of horse. Like, I think many of us love horses, that when we smell that smell of horse, we feel good. Whereas my husband, who's not really into horses, will smell that smell and go, what is that? Ugh. So what kind of smell anchors do we have? The feeling also, how's that feeling, you know, when the horse scoops out from underneath you and like might go for a trot or go for a canter without you expecting it? What is your response to that feeling? What is your anchor around that? What is your anchor towards cantering? Because it's a forward jump into a canter. What's your anchor around that? And if there's a negative anchor or there's a fear response to that, that has to go. Now, like I said, NLP techniques are pretty full on. I'm conducting an NLP practitioner as we speak, and I say, you know, you need to be in the room to learn how to do anchoring correctly.